Good morning, traders. Welcome to our daily webinar. This webinar will be out on YouTube as the weekly outlook. So please make sure you leave a comment, you click a like, you share it somewhere, anywhere. And I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can share it there. You can share it any other place that you can share it is allowed to share. Any group local group from your country you exist in, you can share. For my YouTube viewers as well as my traders, please share because you're going to help someone. So over the weekend, I was contacted by one of these promoters. I think their company promote people, help people get more views and whatever they do. I have no idea who they are, but that's what they do. They kind of do things with your group and help you to enhance it. But they're more keen in monetization of the group. And since my YouTube channel is not monetized, they're not interested because the monetization part is what they're interested in. But they did give a few clues, like everybody else. They do leave a few clues with you what you can do to get more views and so. And the basic thing is keep the channel active, which is more likes, more views, more comments. Once it's active, he even said you can even like the comments themselves, which I do sometimes. The YouTube engine just needs to see activity on the channel, and then it's going to promote it and more people get to see it. The guy who actually spoke to me watched my videos, and he pretty much liked the content itself, right? But I don't think they can help us because they're more in monetization and not gaining more views in that without the monetization. So it's up to us to spread the news and make sure other traders get access to it, because people who do see it for the first time are really, really enjoying it. And I do get people who are signing up for the installment program just to try it out. They will eventually join the group. So let's go. Let's start. Dollar index. Dollar index, as you can see, I have it in a channel. I think we've had channel previously so that you understand why we put those channels. When you get channels start to form like this, you kind of know they're going to go back up, either as a deeper correction or as a reversal. Now, we're not expecting dollar index to reverse, but in the daily, I've showed you this before, that in the daily, there's a good chance this could at some point give you a deeper correction, especially when you start to see the divergence here. Now, I'm not going to be doing a whole lesson here on divergence, but very quickly, divergence on the MACD is very, very accurate. It's about 95% accuracy, which means when you see divergence in the MACD, the chances of a correction is very, very high. Now, reversal will depend on where you are on the bigger structure, but at least a deeper correction is there, because if you go back and you look at all the divergence you had previously, it did show the sign that there is going to be a correction. So I do think we might get a correction here. What we would look for when we see channel like this is there are two possibilities. It's either a channel or it's a running flat. I wouldn't say this is a running flat. I'd say this is most a series of running flats if that's the case. So can it drop off the bottom? Rarely, especially with this format that we have here. Most times there's going to be a correction. But before they start a correction, there's a high probability we might break this low. Right? I don't think this is the correction for upside. That could possibly be it. But I think we might break the low because we did break the top. So if we break the top, I'm assuming that that flat is finished. It could be an expanding flat, but we'll see that when we come in it, right? So on the 60 minutes, if you get a flag, you could possibly get one more trade to the downside. And after that, we will start to look for possibilities that it's going to go back up. If it drops through the bottom, good for us. We'll keep trading, right? So if we get a flag here, and I think we only have 1 hour going up. So if we get a couple hours like this going up here, we'll definitely go for the sell. I think we did that here. Remember that sell? We knew when we break the low, there's a good chance they're going to correct. You're going to do the same thing here. Go for this. When you break the low, the chances are they're going to go back up. But that's a trade. As long as you have that knowledge of what it could do when it's going to do that, you know how to manage your trade. And that's what wave analysis is about. It's about giving you the knowledge of the possibilities that exist so that you use that knowledge to manage the trades when you're in them. You don't have to close the trade. You can move a stop. You can assume it's going to break through the stop. Sometimes they do break through before you can even move your stop or close a trade. And that is good for you because now you can stay with the trade once it does that. Any consolidation under the channel would be continuation to the downside. Can we get 1-2 small correction and then a big drop? Well, we've seen that before. All right, so let's see, we're gonna go for a sell setup. What would change this into an expanding flat here? Well, I don't see the expanding flat because this was sharp, right? So I think I'm putting it with this one. But if, let's say for whatever reason, it is an expanding flat, it has to go up, make a flag, and then we buy, which I think is not gonna happen. So we're looking for the sell setup. Silver, the buy in silver was a short-term one. I think you should have, this was the entry here, but that's not where you put it, especially since it went down. The entry would have been here. Last impulse down, you would be in that one, you'd close it. But those were since Friday, so we're gonna go, right? Now, it doesn't look like this one is gonna break out now, but I don't think we're gonna retest the low either. I think we might just make a bigger correction in here. Probably all of this would be part of the correction. Let's see in the 15 what it looks like. Yep, this could be part of a bigger expanding flat. 1, 2, 3, you can see the correction is mostly here. So we come down back one more, maybe being, it could be running, but I think most likely it's gonna be expanding flat and then go up. So, you know, watch this for the continuation to the upside. When we break that top, that's when, I don't think this is a deep pullback to come and retest the low, right? I don't think so. I think we're gonna get a flat. We can put an end shorter above here. You want it to come down a little more, and then you put the end shorter here. And the same thing, we're going for this trade to break this top. Now, when it breaks that top, that's when we're going to decide if it's going to move much more or it's going to just break the top and reverse too. Reverse for a deeper correction or something like that. We're going with a contracting flat for now. And we do have this curve, which means breaking the top with divergence in play might come for a deeper correction or maybe retest the low. In this case, both will be possible. So let's see. Go for the 1 hour trade. Look for a buy. I don't think we should trade this within this move unless we get a really good flag, right? Within that expanding or whether it becomes a running flat. I mean, if it stops here and go back up, we'll still go to running flat. What if it makes a flag here? Depending on the size of that flag, we might consider this trade for an expanding flat, but the bigger trade should be to the upside. So I'll change this to a buy. Well, it's a buy setup actually. You're waiting on the flag to go. Gold came down, not as much as I would like it to come down, and it didn't go back to break the top. So it means we're still in consolidation. I'll take these out. It means we're still in the consolidation, and it might be a little more complex than I thought. So because this is already making a flag here, kind of making a flat here, not a flag. So this would be more complex, coming back here and then going back up. We'll probably get this, and we might get that one in the future before we go. So it'll be just a more complex move. I don't think this sell is a good idea. If we had broken the top, the sell would be a wonderful idea, but I don't think the sell is a good idea right now. We let it come down because we are very close to the top, and then look for the buy setup because the buy should be an equivalent to this. Right, so if it comes here and give us a buy setup here, that should be a better trade to the upside. This sell is a little too risky. It doesn't have very far to go. Unless we can get it from a much higher place. Right, we know we're going to come to break this low. So if you get a sell setup from here to break this low, then yes, that might make sense. Right, but that would be a 15-minute trade, a very aggressive trade. You'd have to know how to manage it, right? Euro, perfect, right? Came down. I hope some of you got this trade at least, or whether you would have got it from somewhere here. So it did come down. We got it running flat in here and the up move. So let's see, we broke the top. So that means that's good news. If we broke the top, it means we're going to pull back and continue to go. We're going to make a bigger running flat here now. So you got a small running flat within the B. We have to come back for this one and then go. Wait for a sell setup. If you get a small buy setup here, it might be a little too risky because we already broke the top, right? And we still have to pull back. I'm not sure how far this goes before they pull back. If we're going to buy, if there's a buy setup, don't buy the euro, buy something else. or buy any other euro pair or something, but don't buy this. Let this go, because we don't know where it's going to stop before this happens. But if we can get this, we'll sell it and we'll definitely be buying. I don't see this as completing. I don't see this as the up move that completes the structure. We were looking whether we would take this as the correction, right? This entire piece is the correction. But we changed it once we got that running flat. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. We changed this once we got the running flat. By the way, if you're watching this video, I have a slight cough, so that could be, you'll have to excuse me when that happens. Yeah. We were looking at this as the whole correction, but once we got that flat, I think it doesn't fit with it. Normally, it should be sharp impulse. It still possibly could be, but we will stick to this one for now. I will stick to this one for now. Let's see if we get that put back. That could be a good sell. So I'll wait for a flag for a short-term sell. That would be a short-term trade, and then we'll see where we go with that. Pong, yep, this will definitely come back because you got a good correction here. This would have been a good buy short-term. I don't think it was, not a good idea on Friday afternoon. Let this come back here. We broke the top. That's running flat. We're going to go one more. So there's a pullback, and then there's an up move. We can sell this now. It's a big move. It's over 100 pips, I think. The entire move, yes, is 123 pips. So if this is going to move 123 pips, you got an impulse, wait for a flag. You have an impulse, wait for a flag, go for the trade. Wait for the flag here, go for the trade. Right, this is about 20 pips already. How much? Yeah, that's 26. It's going to go up. You can get about 6 to 8 pips on the way down. So that is a good sell setup. Aussie didn't break the top, so it's just going to be a flat. It will come back down. I don't think we're still open to Aussie being a running flat. We're still open to this possibility. So if it keeps crawling up, go for the buy. If you have to buy, don't buy the euro and the pound, buy the Aussie. Right? So this was a Friday, was an aggressive buy. If any one of you wanted to take it, we spoke about it. If you want to take an aggressive buy on this up, just keep it until it breaks it up. So this would have been a trade. We're going with this running flat in the middle. So, yep, that move up is good. Let's wait now. If you get a buy set up here and you want to take it, you can take it. It's slow, but it might still go. Right? The running flat is still possible. If it starts to drop, we go with the sell. The best sell would be, again, sorry guys, the euro and the pound, but we can go with the sell here. We'll exclude the running flat and go for a bigger flat here. New Zealand. So we're leaving it as a sell setup. Assuming New Zealand came back to the top. New Zealand, we don't have any kind of a running flat for it, so we're going to make a flat here, which means this could go up a little more, but one more down is possible. We're already at the top, so we're going to assume it's making a flat for upside. So Euro, Pound, and New Zealand have one more down. Aussie probably would come back down, so that will negate the running flat. But if Aussie comes down before it breaks the top, then we go with the flat. If it breaks the top first, then come down, we will go with a separate. The running flat will be completed, and we'll go with separate corrections. All right, so let's see. This one didn't break the low. And I don't think we should, unless we get a really good flag here, then we look for the sell. This could still go become a running flat in the future. So we're still looking for a sell, wait for a flag here in the 15, and go with the sell. CAD. This was if you want to take the aggressive sell. If any one of you did, great. It's actually breaking the low, so we will go with this as a flat. Right, so probably one more drop to break this low. So one more correction here. We go with this trade just to break this low. And then upside. So there's not a lot more remaining here. I don't think it will be a big drop. I don't see this. We're still in this correction here. And that is still a correction. That has not changed. So this comes, it probably break this low here, and then we're going back to the top. So if you get that trade, it's okay. If you don't, then wait for it to break the low and then go for the rest of the week would be this trade going up. I think today, if we break that low, the rest of the week would be the upside. Can we break this low? Running flat possibility. So CAD, I would not put the sell because it will just let it go. This is the sell setup forming here too. I'm not sure these two are equal, but we'll still go with the running flat. Yeah, this one is much shorter. Let's see what we look like in there. Yeah, it's coming down, so I still think we can go to running flat. Wait for a flag here. You probably want a 1 hour flag, not a 15 minutes flag with this one and this one. So you want the 1 hour flag here now. And then we go for the sell to break this low. So if we have CAD going down some more, Swiss going down some more, and most likely yen will go down some more, we'll check that. Then there's a chance that these flags will not form now. They're likely going to go up some more. So the best buy would be on the Aussie. Because Aussie, if it's a running flat, it is going to move faster to break the top. The rest of them are already running flats. Euro is a running flat. Pound is a running flat. All they will do is continue to go up a little more. And New Zealand might become a running flat, which means this up move will break the top before it comes back. So better to go with these cells. They're safe to trade. You need a flag, and most likely you need a 1 hour flag now because smaller ones already finished. So you need a bigger one here to confirm the trade, and then we'll break through the bottom. We're going to go through, retest this low. This entry is not valid. Remember, we were saying we'd look for the sell from there, but we'll try to get it from the top. I don't know if anybody got that on Friday. If you did, you did well. Put it to break even and let it go. So I'm expecting this to break out. I don't think they're going to go back up more. Can they? Yeah. Probably you can look at this as a correction that goes back up, retest the top. It will just be a bigger correction if that happens. Let's see if CAD has that possibility. No, CAD actually is dropping. This is a sharp move. That's a sharp move. I don't think we're going to go back up to the top. Yen. Okay, we're expecting it to drop, go back up, and then come down. And I think we're in the up part now. We're going to go back and retest this top. Most likely break the top. This piece is finished. I'll take that off. So we're looking at this as a possible running flat. This will go break the top and then downside. So there might be a short trade here. And then we look for the sell setup. If it comes back all the way to this top, then we're just making a bigger flat, right? If we come back all the way to this top here, if this moves and it goes all the way to that top, then what we do is look at this as a possible bigger flat. Come back here, go back up, and then drop. This goes there, that goes there, and then drop. So the yen trade will be much, much, much easier if that happens because we came to the bottom. There's a short-term buy here. Maybe this is the only trade you actually get for this morning. We're not here. Give it a couple more candles. Let's get a flag. And then we can try to see whether we break that top. Put it as an aggressive buy. Wait for the flag, or probably wait for the flag. That would be a better idea. Swiss yen. This was the buy to the upside, not the sell. Take that out. I think we can put it like this. Take that out. That was the smaller running flat in this one. This is strangely going back up big. We don't have a correction for that. Unless we look at this as a 1, 2, 3 there, but there's a good chance we might consolidate in this range some more. Because this piece is finished. That is one piece of its own there. So this would probably make a bigger flat. The buy here is a bad idea because there's not a lot to break that up. And I don't think this one will take off. So we just let it go up and then look for the sell. Let this go up some more, break the top, and then we look for the sell back to the bottom here. Maybe we're going to end up with a flat in the middle here. So let's see what that can do. If we get a flat here, we're buying this because this would be the low. We'll go with some correction, some other correction, and this will have to go break this top. So we'll see how that goes. Look for the sell first. We're looking for a sell setup once we break this top. We're looking for a sell setup. Canadian. This will go break the top and then the sell, but you can actually buy this. You can actually put an entry here now. And we're hoping to come and retest this top and then the downside. Now, what if this was all the correction? And this is the low. If that's the case, this one is going to go much more up. So the buy on this makes sense. You put an entry there, put a stop under the low. You can use an aggressive stop here because I don't think we're coming back down. See, we have a complete flat there. So you don't have to use a stop under this low. Use a stop under this low. Don't let it come back to the stop. And we take the trade to break this stop here. So far, we're using this as a correction. We made that thing on Friday, and it looks good to me. So we're expecting them to come back to this stop and then drop. But if we're wrong about it, then this was the flat. Then this became the final impulse down. This would be much more better trade. So you can take it once it gets here, get it to positive, and wait to see whether it's a bigger one. I still think it's a correction for downside. But if we got it wrong, you'd be happy. So it's a buy. It's an aggressive buy. And you manage that. New Zealand also will go back up. We'll break this stop. I don't think we have a buy setup. We do have a buy setup, by the way. You can put an entry order under this stop, above this, above this. And go for that trade. You wanted to break this stop here. It needs to break this stop to complete this pattern. So if we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, we at least need to break that up. And then from there, anything is possible. So we'll see. This one doesn't look like a complete flat. So I'll probably use a bigger stop. Use a stop somewhere here. Double the risk, use a stop here. Go with that. You're not going to let it come back there, but you just double it so that you can, or don't take this one, take the one with the safe to trade. So we'll put an aggressive buy here too. Aussie yen. Already the trade should be active. It should be from here. So if it pulls back a little here, take the trade. And it's the same trade to go break. This one is a short downside. See, this has a better structure for downside because this is the low. This is the flat in the middle. Gets to the top there, and then you're looking for downside. This is a huge flat. So I don't think a huge flat would be in the start of an up move. It's possible, but not so common. Sorry, guys. So we wanted to break this stop. You can use an entry where probably let it pull back a little. If you buy it right there, you have to keep a stop. Keep a stop under the low. Just don't let it come back to the stop. Under the low here. This should go. So put an aggressive buy here in this. If you want to take it right here, it's better, but you can get it a little lower. I think we can let it pull back a little and then go. Euro yen. We're expecting this to come and break this stop, but this one doesn't have a complete flat. It's gone already. Wait for it to pull back or make a bigger flat or skip the euro yen. We're expecting it to go break that up, and then we'll be in this correction for downside. So if all these moves finish today, there are bigger sell setups coming, and that would be better trades for us. Pang yen. This is gone. It's already the top, so leave it. It's already here. We don't know how high it's going to go, but then we're expecting it to come back. So let's see. Euro New Zealand. Oh, this came back pretty deep. It's a buy setup, but it's really deep. So we might be stuck in the correction for a longer period of time. Look for a buy setup. Wait for a flag here. Good job, guys. Well done. You guys got 2 of them, so good for that. Go with this. Look for that there. It will break this top. So wait for a flag and then go for the buy. We have a wait for a flag here. Go for the buy. Get the flag from here going up. This should be a good trade. EuroCAD. Okay, the sell should have been closed there, and now it's more of a flat for upside. So EuroCAD is more upside now. You've got a flat. Wait for a flag before you buy. So I'll change this to wait for a flag before you buy, because it could still correct more downside. So let it make a flag somewhere here and then buy the flag to the upside. If that is a flat, it will continue to go. Right? It will continue to go up, but wait for it to make the flag. Euros. Okay, this one really didn't give us the running flat. So we'll probably still assume that we're going to get a running flat on this one here. I'll be careful of any buy. Right, this could still come down some more. And I think we're looking for the downside here, not the upside. So probably put an entry. Actually, if you put in, it didn't make the flat, but if you put an entry, you got for it. You can put an entry here because this looks like the running flat now. If it is a running flat, it will drop. If it's not a running flat, it's going to go up. You wouldn't be in the trade, but the sell is what we're looking for. So if it goes up, we're not interested in that. Put an entry order here for the sell. I think we've got ourselves a running flat there. Keep your stop above the running flat here and look, you're targeting the break of this low and it can go much lower than that. See, if we're right about it, then this could probably come all the way down here. Right, we're assuming that this is a big expanding flat, and let's see if it is. So we put this as an aggressive sell. Euro Swiss upside, perfect. It did give us the running flat, and now it's going up. So all you need is a flag to buy. Let's see if we get a flag here in the 1 hour. Let it pull back like this. Go for this running flat. Put an entry there. Go for the trade. Put a stop here. Once it pulls back, let it pull back first. Wait, well, you're waiting for the buy setup, so let it pull back. Then you go Euro Pound. Okay, if you got tagged on that Friday, you closed the trade already right in here. Take that out. It's still kind of consolidating. I wouldn't say this is going up aggressively. I still think we can go for the sell. Now we're going to put the entry under the last impulse, which should be this. That should be the last impulse on the 15. Yep, that is the last impulse up on the 15. Keep your entry there, and we're going for the sell. Here's the thing with this. It might just break this low. It might just break this low here and go back up. We could be in a much long, drawn-out correction structure here. So once it breaks this low, get it to positive. And if they keep dropping, good for us. But if it comes here and decide to go back up, we'll be stuck with this. 1, 2, 3. We sell from the top here, go down again. All right, so let's see. I'll take this off. This is useless. Pause. We're getting a flag here for a sell. This might be a good trade. Let's see in the 1 hour what it looks like. Not so much a flag, it's pretty aggressive, but bigger trade is still to the upside. We haven't broke out of this as yet. Okay. So they do make deep pullback. The pullback itself is irrelevant now. I think we just wait. Don't go for the sellers yet. The bigger trade is upside, the sell might be short-lived. Punkad. Still more up. Right, because we're consolidating at the top, so it's still more upside on the big picture. Now the question is whether they're going to come much deeper into this. Come back all the way here before we go. So if that happens, maybe short-term sell would be a good trade. Go to the 15 and see if you, the only thing you're going to get is short-term sells for now. Wait for a flag, sell it. So wait for this to make a flag here in a 15 and take that trade to break the low. Take off the profit. Wait for the upside, take off the profit every time. So I'll put short-term sell. You're waiting for a flag for short-term sell. Pound Swiss. Let's stay away from this one. We haven't got this move down as yet, and it doesn't look like that is what's happening here. So we stay away from this. Pound New Zealand. Okay, that was a good sell. I still think we have to come and break this low. So there's more downside, but this is a deep pullback. So we wait. It's probably going to make a flat here now. We'll probably get a flat here. And then if that happens, we go for the sell again. Take that off. Aussie CAD. Still a sell setup, just a bigger correction here now. This is going to be here for a while. We have to come back down here, probably go back up. And depending on how you look at that, it will probably come back here and then go. So you're going to get a 1, 2, 3, and then the downside. We just wait. Leave it alone. Don't try to sell this piece to break out of that. If we're going to sell under here, you'll need a flag. But it will be a sell setup. It's just not going to be now. Aussie Swiss. It's way back at the top of that impulse. So if we're going to get a sell setup to retest the low, we'll need a flag. We need this to break down. break that low, make a flag, and then go for the sell, right? Break this low, make a flag, go for the sell. So if we get that trade, if we don't, let it go up without us. You're not going to buy from here to there. That's not, your stop will have to be here minimum. Cat Swiss. We did break the low, so the question is whether this is starting the upside. I don't think so. I think we're just in a much bigger correction. Let's leave this alone. We'll see how long they consolidate there, and then we'll consider the buy. New Zealand CAD. Okay, we can go for the sell. Take this off. And we can put an entry under the last impulse and manage that trade. If we get a flag before that, we sell the flag. New Zealand Swiss, let's see. Oh, we did break the top. So we'll expect this to come down. And now we're what? Tagged in this sideways. That just makes it worse. Because we've got this sharp one now, and we have nowhere to put that. Because we just broke this top. Take the sell, because even if it's making a bigger flat, this would come back pretty much deep here before they go back up and come back here and then go back up. If we're making a bigger flat here, this could be the B part of it with two impulses here. So, but it's still a far way. That's a couple hundred pips probably. Let's see from the bottom to the top is how much. Yeah, that's 132 pips. So you can get a trade. Look for a sell setup from the top there. Once we broke the top, we'll look for a sell setup. Sorry, guys. Yep. You get a flag here, and then we go for the trade. You're already getting a flag here. So we're going to sell this, put a stop here. We're coming for this trade here. If it comes really slow, we're going to expect it to be the B part, and then we'll manage. If it drops, well, then this we'll have to find where to put this somewhere with something in the past. I really don't think it's this. Nope, doesn't fit. We'll wait and see. Let's just leave that, put this back where it was like this. We'll figure out which one to put with it. Because I don't see any. But wait for the flag sell. It's making a flag here now. Let it make a good flag, and then we're going to put an entry under the low and then sell that. So this would be a sell setup, wait for a flag. Aussie, New Zealand. Good, it came down. Remember, we're selling this. And I said if it comes down really slow, let it go back up, break the top, and then you look for the sell again. So turn out that's the B part, go back up, break the top, look for the sell. Don't try to buy this, it's useless. We're gonna wait for the sell. Natural gas. Well, if it moves up, we were looking at this flat here. But if it moves up that much, you take this off. By rule, you take that off. So that will, if you were gonna sell this, you would have to sell it here, or probably even here, under the last impulse. But you wouldn't sell this as a correction. I would not sell that as a correction. That's a sharp move up. So we take this off. Okay, it looks like we're still in this, except it's a little more like this. That does not change anything, so we could probably still have a running flat here. This is really relatively sharp, so if we put that with this, there's a good chance it still come down back. And probably even go back up. Because I don't see the structure ending there. We don't have a buy setup here. Take this off, that was a sell. We don't have a buy setup here. We'll let it go, unless it break out of this structure and make a flat, we don't have a buy setup. So it goes to the top, there's a small running flat forming here. This one is gonna come back here, and you're gonna get this. So here's the question, what if this is the low of this entire thing and we're taking off? And just what if that is the case, then the best place to buy it would be above this top. Confirming we're reversing this and we're totally taking off. Now, would I buy this flat here? I think it's pretty dangerous. It's a good buy, but it's dangerous. And then when it comes back here, you put an entry under there. All it needs to do is break that up and reverse. If you can get out of this for break even, it's worth a try because there's a chance that it could take off. Right? We know that this at some point will start to go back up. Right? We do have divergence and everything. So the question is, how deep up would it go? We don't know that. And the second question is, well, what if it just tags the top and start to go down? Would you get a trade? So the best thing is here. And if they actually do get a big spike, it should be like this. If they get a small one, then you just got to come out for break even. Go to 1 hour. It's the same trade from in here, but it's just much higher risk. Take that off. US oil. It did come back a little deeper, so you've got a flat in there. I think we can go for the sell. Can actually go for this sell and expect this move down, right? That is this move here before they go back up. We haven't broken the top. If this just go break the top, then still look for the sell, come back here and then go. I will still look for a possible sell setup. If it breaks the top really far, then it's much better of a sell. Because then we just assume that this belongs to this, and we're going down for the bigger one, which would be this one. So this sell is not a bad idea. We're just in the middle of it, so we're expecting this move down. If it drops from there, the trade we'll be expecting would be this. And then up again, right? If it drops from there. If it goes and break the top, we just ignore it. There's not much risk to reward to the upside. The same should be here, right? If you want to sell, I think we didn't break the top, so the sell is not a bad idea. It's also a short-term trade just to break this. If it just tag you and stay here for a while, we'll assume it's another flat, close the trade. S&P 500, one more buy. So if you bought this on Friday for the possibility that they're going to correct this one deep, or for the possibility of a running flat, remember I said it still could be a running flat or running flat in this case, you may want to take the trade. If you took that trade, well done. There's another trade set up here for me. We might break this top and that might be the running flat. So sorry guys, there's a small flag here. Let it come here and then look for that trade up. Now, is this a deep correction for more downside? Well, wait for a better drop. This is too small an impulse. Right, wait for a bigger one. This could go back up there, come here and then go. I'm expecting a flat here. And then this would be a trade to the upside. So we'll take off the sells, take off the sells, take off the sells. Short-term buy if you want, it will be aggressive buy. This would be the same thing. Short-term aggressive buy if you want that. Until it breaks the top. Not a lot remaining to break this top, but this one we don't have that trade. Right? This is there, but you got to be careful with this because there is no running flat here. So even if all three goes, we ignore this one. We don't have any running flat. The best you can probably look at is this one if we take this to be this running flat. That's a far stretch. And they're all still going to be correction, right? Even if this remains a running flat and this one goes to the top here, this is the move down. So we're still going to go down. Right? It will still be downside. Can it stop just here and then drop? It's possible. We'll see. I'm not going to put this running flat as yet. We can't confirm that, so we'll wait. Next. Yep, you should be out of this trade. And with an entry here, this one went up higher, take it off. So we're not in the trade and we don't have anything, and we will not be trading this in this piece. If it makes a deeper correction here for upside, then we will go with this and then expect this and then one more up. If it starts to drop from there, the sell is still valid. Now we'll try to get a better sell if it starts to drop, but this sell is still valid. And this could still be a correction and then they drop. Let's wait and see. HK50. Okay, this would have been a good buy if you took the trade. It would have to be above the last impulse or with this flag here. So good one. And let's go. Nifty. Nifty should go one more up. You can expect this to go up here. Once it gets to about this level, we start to look for the sell setup. So there might be a short-term trade here. Very short-term. Bitcoin. It broke out. And like I said Friday, there's a very, very, very high probability that this is the flat. This is all the flat here. And that this one is going to go up with an entry order above the top. You're in a good trade. Now, if you took this trade, you got to put somewhere in here, you got to put an entry order to sell if you want to stay with the trade. If you don't want to stay with the trade, you're short term, you close the trade either here or here. Somewhere there, you already took your profit. We're getting a deeper correction here. I think this is a correction again for upside. So you can repeat the same thing, put an entry order above the last impulse, which would be this. And we will repeat exactly. Remember, we're getting some divergence here now. So this could be the last spike before they come back deep. It's actually moving up pretty high. I don't think this and this would make any kind of a bigger running flat. I'm not expecting, we're not looking at it that way because this is very corrective of its own. So the question would be, was this the low here? Let me take this out, sorry, take this out. And take this out. Instead of an expanding flat, was this the low? And is this starting the up move? Well, if it's starting the up move, it will make a bigger correction at some point. So with the divergence in play, it can make one more spike here and then start a deeper correction here. And that would confirm the total upside. You do have them. See one deep correction there, see another deep correction here. Those confirms bigger move to the upside. So if this is the low and we are going back up, I'd probably say at least an impulse, a move like this. If that happens, and then we probably still come back down. Okay, this one is relatively sharp. So there's a good chance this could become a running flat, come back down, and then go. Go back to the 1 hour, and you have a buy setup. I would still treat all of this, depending on where you're buying it from, still treat them pretty much as a possibility that it could drop, which means if you're in the trade, you'll move your stops, and you could be in the trade on some of the other pairs that we took long term that had bigger move that started from the very low. ETH, it actually spiked up. It didn't, this one actually went out, which was a surprise because I thought this one was going really slow. So we didn't have a buy on this, but it turned out this is the flat. That's all. It just went up slow. And you're getting another flat here. So take this off. And this has more upside. We know this has more upside because we're in a bigger flat. So an entry order above this stop is good. And this one has a bigger flat to go, right? It has this one. Complete this flat, which is this coming to this stop, and then from there downside. So you got 1, you get 2, we're going to go with 3, and then 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then get the bigger drop. Could this be the deep correction for the start of the total upside? Well, if everything is totally going up, good. For now, we will make sure that we keep track of that first. But if they're all going up, well, good for you. Right? This is a really deep pullback, so that's why I think we're making a flat here. We're probably going to make a new low and then go. That's possible. But if this takes off, keep track of it all the way to the top. This is relatively sharp, so I don't see this being, you know, the 1, 2, 3 as sharp as this. So most likely we're making another flat and then down. But trade it back up to the top to that one. There's still more to go. At least one more spike to break this top. OMG. Good buy if you took the buy here. We were taking the buy more for a correction for this move up or something like that. But if you took it, good for you. It actually spiked out of the structure. So this turned out to be all the correction here. There is. This piece here would be all the correction. A little strange. This correction is a little strange with this flat in the middle. We weren't expecting that flat. But the buy turned out good. Let's see where this can go. Remember, this one was from the low. There are 3 of them that we had from the low that are buy setups. You can keep buying. Which means we don't know how high they're going to go. Because they're coming from the low point and they're still moving up. Wait for flags buy. Just take every flag you get. So we're getting another correction. We have a running flat here, by the way. And you're making a flag here. Put an entry either above the top or above the flag, whichever you like. And there's possibility you're going to get one more impulse up. So you can put it as a buy. I'll put the entry order above the, you can put it above the flat, it doesn't make a difference. If it comes lower, if it comes much lower, then you take it off, because then we'll make more of a channel, right? Rather than a running flat. So now this is a running flat. But if this comes lower, then go back up, it will be a channel. So you probably take it off, get it from a much lower point. XRP, this broke out. Also, I thought this would come back one more here, but just in case you're supposed to put your entry order there, which you're going to close or break even, and you're going to put the entry order above the top. And let's see. LTC. Same, close it, put it above the last impulse. I would assume that they all have divergence. So this impulse up could be the last one. Where we expect this to go? Oh, that is just going. This could be the last impulse up. There's a lot of divergence. So this impulse could be the last one up. Be careful. Make sure you get out in time. Once it make a spike, put an entry order, put a stop. Dodge. No, don't take this. ADA. Goodbye. The buy was from the bottom here. Again, we thought that this buy would just come back to the top here and then go back down. It did make a pullback, but first pullback, you don't really think, unless you close it for profit there. If you did, you re-enter there. You close again, you can put an entry here. You should have got rid of that only on your first spike. Put an entry there for this. And we're consolidating above this top out of the structure, so this is more upside. Right, this is more upside, and this has nothing. We don't have any past running flats or so this could go a lot more up. Guys, let's see. Link. Close and re-enter. And let's see this. Nope, it's going to go up, but it's not a buy setup. You're getting a flat there for one more spike up, but you're all within this one. Right? It's within this down move. So this might just do this and come back here, make a flat, and then go back up. It all depends on how high this goes. I think this one is coming from the low too. If this is coming from a low point. So if this becomes a big flat, that would be a good trade for the upside. You might want to take this, but you have to manage it to see how high it comes within this. And if it comes to this level and then drop back here, and this becomes a really good flat for upside, buying it from the low going up. So we'll have to wait and see. This would be your first impulse up, and this would be the first correction. Going up as well. This one we pretty much know. We're expecting a little more up, and then from there we'll have to be careful, because this could be a big running flat. If we're right about that big running flat, it's going to come a little more and then drop. You might get one more buy in it. Could possibly get another buy here. Yep, that should be the last impulse done. Put it like this. This is also going up. Let's see where we have it from. No, this one is more in a correction, so be careful. Don't buy this. Autumn. Okay, that was the buy for, no, we were looking for this to drop one more. It actually broke out. If you're going to buy it, you have to buy from above this top, especially if you see the breakout. Right, but then that is short-lived. It's already there. You close the trade because you're still in this structure. What you want is a breakout of this structure, which means if you got in this trade and it stopped there, close the trade, put an entry above the top. If they break out, we get the trade. If they come back down, we still look for the sell. Let's see what we have in the 1 hour. Not exactly a sell setup, because this one is pulled back pretty deep. You can make an argument for this flat. An up move, a drop. Let this drop some more and then make a flag, and then you go with the trade. If it stays here, I would not. Probably ignore the buy until we break out of the structure. BNB. Nothing here. It did break out. You got a flat here, but it's not going anywhere, and you have a flat inside of the correction. So not a good idea. dash. Also not a good idea in the bigger picture. It's very corrective. So it's from a low, but it's very, very corrective. It's not those sharp moves we had in the other one. I'll be very careful with this. And this is a good one because this is coming from a low and you can see how sharp it's moving. So if you got tagged in this one, I hope you close the break even. If you didn't, wait for it to come back, close the break even, put the entry above the top. Now, I don't like the fact that they're consolidating just above or inside that correction. That's not a good idea. So let's see, we put the entry in, and then this time if it spikes really big, you go with it. There's divergence. If it spikes and start to pull back, get rid of the trade. It could go for a deeper correction. It's aggressively going up. It's a sharp move. You can see that we don't have anything to go with. We just think it's going to go up. Right? There's no running flat or anything. This impulse is going all of its own. But it could make a correction before it goes. So the buy said, if you're long-term and you got in from the bottom, which we were already calling, it means if you got in from here or from here, and you're moving your stops, you probably would put your stop here now. Right? The stop should have been here, and then when this correction finishes, you put it there, and then when this go up, you put it under this one. You just follow the last impulse every time. If you're short-term, you're in and out of the trade. So, okay, guys, that's it. The long one. We finally did it. Thank you for your patience. And let's go. I'll stop all the recording.